Before moving on, make sure to have your cold plunge framed, get your top panel in, and insert your tank into the opening on that top panel. If you need help doing any of that, check out my YouTube channel. I have step-by-step videos showing exactly how to do that. So I've gotten to the point where I need to show you how to hook everything up. Basically from here, what we want to do is take the bulkhead off and clean the rubber gasket. So I just have a washcloth with some water on it, and I'm just cleaning up all of the different edges of that rubber gasket. And once you do that, you can do the same with your stock tank. And what we want to do here is just make sure that that has a nice watertight seal, and so we're removing any dust and debris that might be on there. From there, we will take our drain assembly. This is the one with the filtered drain cap thing on there. And we'll put it in the drain hole, just like that. Take the plastic washer, put that on first, and then the tightening nut, and tighten this bad boy on there. And here, you'll want to get this fairly tight. We've said hand tighten in the past for the PVC fittings, but the tighter that you can get this, the better. So, if you need to call a friend, tag team, get some force on this thing, and get it locked. From here, we're going to bust out our trusty primer and cement and attach this piece onto our drain. And then when we put this on, we will want to make sure that there is a slight downward angle, just ever so slightly, coming out of this socket. And then we'll hold until that sets. At this point, if you have a frame for your cold plunge, you will want to take the pipe strap and attach it to this PVC, install that last piece of upright framing, and then drill or screw this pipe strap into that upright. That's why we saved that last 22-inch piece in the framing plan and kind of had it laying off to the side. It's for this part right now. If you have questions about this step, make sure to reference the video in the PDF download. Now, with our drain piece installed, we can take some flexible spa tubing and install it, whoopsie daisy, on this T. For this video, I'm not going to be using this cold plunge. What you'll want to do is prime this, prime that socket, cement this, cement that socket, and install it. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to dry fit it because, again, I can use these parts for another build in the future. Prime and cement this into here, and then we'll set up our hose to lead to the pump. And I have things just kind of roughly placed here on where it actually landed. You'll pretty much want to get your chiller placed along with your pump, and then mount this on the wall after the fact. There'll be some framing here that we'll need to work with to send tubing back into the cold plunge. If you get everything kind of roughly laid out like this, it'll make a lot of sense. We've got our spa hose right here. So I'm gonna cut this to fit there. And the same way that we dry fit the other end of this spa hose, that's what we'll do with the pump as well. Again, you may need to pipe strap this down just to get it to stay where you want it to. I think you get the overall idea that this hose needs to lead to this pump. So at this point in the game, we've got the outlet and drain leading your spa hose over to your pump inlet. And now we'll be connecting the outlet of the pump to the chiller. Everything from the outlet hose leading to your drain should be connected, cemented in at this point. You should also have this spa hose anchored down with hose straps as well. You can layer material underneath to get it exactly where you want to go. Use your uprights just to get a little bit more solid area where that hose is going to be. The next thing we're going to do is get the distance get the measurement for the spa hose to go from the outlet of the pump to the inlet of the chiller. I know that my PVC fittings have 1 inch on the inside that the pipe will fit into. So I'm just going to simply take the measurement between these two, which is 7.5, and add 2 inches. So I'm going to cut a 9.5 inch piece of spa hose. Make sure you double and triple check your measurements. I'm, again, flying kind of loosey-goosey for demonstrative purposes. Now, prime and cement both sides of this hose. What I recommend doing is take that union off and prime and cement this here, then prime and cement the outlet of the pump, and then you'll be able to attach these together perfectly. And voila, that part is done. Next up is the assembly for the outlet portion. I'm just doing this as a demonstration for how to do this. Make sure that when you assemble everything that you're using the primer and cement and the PTFE tape or thread sealant if that's what your go-to is. But we've got a 1 inch to 3/4 inch socket. We're going to tape this up the way we have the entire build. And then we'll install that into the outlet of your chiller. And we're doing it this way so I can best illustrate these last final measurements that you'll need to connect everything together. And so there's going to be 2 measurements that you'll need to take. We need PVC to come out of this part here, and we need PVC to come out of this part here. What will connect these together is an elbow. Now, the way you have your plunge set up might be a 1/2 inch, a 1/4 inch, a whole inch different than mine. Mine is literally butted up to each other just like this. So after you get this hung, you're going to have to check which measurements you need there. So do that the exact same way that we did for this spa hose here. And you can use either spa hose or PVC for this part. What I'll demonstrate here is just some little scrap pieces of PVC that I had there. But this will go together like that. And then this will go together right there. But you will want this, again, primed and cemented to make your build legit. And again, the nice thing is that at the end of the day, you can take all this stuff apart. All right, so now for the inlet back into the stock tank. Again, we're wiping off with just a wet rag here to get everything cleaned up. Grab your inlet assembly and you can take it off of, because remember we didn't attach anything yet. Clean this up as best you can and we will install that here. So once that's on there, we will grab some PTFE tape and take the assembly that we worked on, wrap that up, and install. So I'm going to keep turning this piece until it starts to get pretty tight, and then take it around to that 45. And again, because this is demonstration only, I'm going to just dry fit this pipe in, and then we'll kind of guesstimate what we want our cut right here to be to tie it all in. Again here, use the PVC primer and cement. That's how the plumbing gets from the filtration back into the tank. You can use, like an elbow here if you want, if that's easier. So there we go, guys. We are nearly done. The last thing to do is to install your drain piece, and we can't do that until you have this thing framed, wrapped, insulated, and sided, because we want this to be on the outside. We also want to make sure that we give this a test run to make sure that all your PVC fittings have a watertight seal. So what I suggest doing is taking your drain, putting it to closed, and just dry fitting this onto this pipe the same way that I did with all of the hoses for this demonstration. Fill it up with water, run it, look for leaks in all of the different connection areas. If you have water kind of peeking out of this here, obviously you don't need to worry about that. But fixing this stuff now is going to be a lot cheaper than trying to fix it later after everything is insulated and secured in. All right, so guys, you did it. Give yourself a huge pat on the back. You have plumbed your DIY cold plunge. Now it's up to you to take this project across the finish line. Get some siding on it, insulate it, build a cover, all of that fun stuff. I have a ton of resources on my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, my TikTok, and my Instagram. So check those out if you haven't. And make sure to post a picture and tag me in it when your build is complete. Thank you so much for purchasing the plans. I am happy to help in any way that I can, so please reach out on any of my social media channels, and I'll do my best to make you succeed with this project. Have a great day, guys, and thanks again.